Well guys, here in front of you, I got my chopper. And today, we're going to be doing some riding on this thing because I sold it. So we're going to put some final little miles on this thing before it goes to its forever home. Now I know what you guys are thinking, why on earth would I sell this thing? Well, you guys should know that I have a ton of projects. And among the bikes that I do have that run and ride and stuff, I go into the warehouse and, you know, if I'm going to choose a bike, this one really just doesn't get chosen. And, you know, realistically, I keep saying I'm going to do a bunch of stuff with this bike, and I find myself just not doing it. So it just doesn't make sense to keep it. I mean, I would love to keep everything. You know, I'd like to have a cool showroom and have this thing up in a window in a cool coffee shop or something like that, but you know, it just doesn't get the attention it deserves. So I've been trying to sell it for a little while over on Instagram, and finally I have somebody who's buying it. So this thing is shipping out this week and going to Arizona. But among all the other stuff I've been doing, I've been working on this thing for the last 2 weeks, just kind of doing some tinkering and bringing it up to snuff for somebody else to ride, but trying to make it a little bit more user-friendly. So just been working on the carburetors and, you know, doing some chain adjustments, things like that. Again, working on that rideability, and I think this thing is much improved from where it was. Now, the origin story of this bike, it actually first belonged to a friend of mine. He was looking for an XS650 to build a bobber chopper out of, and I ended up finding this deal locally, and as you can see here, we picked it up and it was nothing but just kind of a partially modified frame. Engine was out of it. I mean, it had kind of nothing going for it, but it was a good base to start working from. But I ended up kind of getting this thing into hardtail form for my buddy, and you know, like a lot of us do, he had big intentions for it, but just really never did anything with it. So I ended up buying it off of him and kind of continuing. But you know, before I did that, this thing actually had some training wheels on it. Ended up going into a play that my friend had been directing, which is pretty cool. Little shop of horrors, like the dentist that wrote it. So that was pretty cool. So this thing's kind of famous. It's got some live screen time. So I just hit the gas station up, put 1.1 gallons in this thing. It holds 1.2, so yeah, we were running off fumes there. But this thing runs real good. We have gas in it, wouldn't you know it? So just a kind of quick rundown of this bike, since it's been so long since it's really been on the channel. So this is a 1981 XS650. So it's an electronic ignition TCI bike from the factory. I've got a TC Bros hardtail on there, and beyond that I have a used hand-built PMA kit, so permanent magnet conversion where you don't need a battery, and I have a capacitor on here. And then for electronics, I have a Mike's XS. I think it's like a Pamco ignition knockoff. I'm really not sure. There's not a lot of markings on it, but it seems to work fine. So it has electronic ignition, permanent magnet, capacitor. It's kind of the standard super bare bones XS kind of setup. So this thing has actually been just super reliable. And if I had to give it one fault, it would be the carburetors. These things are just a little bit hard to tune in, just having the unequal length headers on there. I think my exhaust really kind of kills the rideability of this thing. Just one exhaust is probably like a foot longer than the other, kind of a large diameter for what you need. And then those baffles, I mean, it you know, it could be better. They look cool, but you know, it's not a performance bike. But the handlebars we're looking at, I made those. Those actually are the stock handlebars, cut up, flipped side to side, welded on some custom risers, made out of sockets. Don't tell anybody. Now, among other things on this bike, one of the key pieces up here, obviously the attention getter, is this seat. So I made this pan, and it has a really cool passageway in it that I run the wiring for the brake light to. Just super clean. You don't see any of the wiring. It runs straight into the frame, down the down tube, and straight to the little electronics fuse box that I have underneath the bike. But really clean. And then the seat, of course, is upholstered by my guy Rich Phillips. And man, we just, once I got this tank on here, we just had to do like a kind of like a glitter red sparkly vinyl. My dad's got a cool like 70 Schwinn Stingray. It's an apple crate, and so apple crates are all red, and it has a nice glittery banana seat on there. I'm like, that's what we need right there. So I love how this seat looks. And then being that I built this bike for me, the way I have it kind of bolstered, it fits me very well. It's, I mean, all things considered, being a hardtail freaking chopper, it's pretty damn comfortable. Just because I have like lumbar support, the bars are perfectly positioned for me. I'm really happy with it. I got some mids on here, found some cool foot pegs off Marketplace. Engine was rebuilt, or I rebuilt the engine, just kind of gave it a quick hone and just cleaned it up, painted the cases, that kind of thing, but nothing radical beyond that. So I fabricated this sissy bar. That was a pretty cool piece, and then it's all polished. The rear fender, it's a, it came from a lowbrow or built well, I'll have to look, but I think it's a lowbrow, and it's like a Mako, kind of ribbed Mako or something like that. I'll link this stuff, but cool looking fender again. Man, this building on the corner, I looked at trying to buy like 2 years ago and put my little old, you know, motorcycle shop in there. But of course, city zoning meant that you can't put anything automotive related. Wait, what's all this automotive stuff? Yeah, you can't put anything automotive related in this part of town. How strange. Unless you're grandfathered in, of course. Which I understand, but again, it really sucks. That I always get anytime I post anything about this is, well, that doesn't look very comfortable. Yeah, it's a hardtail chopper, guys. What are you expecting? Like, oh, you can't take a passenger on it. Bullshit. My girlfriend Amber spent 2.5 hours in the back of this thing on the seat that wide. She wasn't very happy about it, but she did it. Oh, that tank's so small, you don't have much range. Duh, you make it small, that way you have an excuse to stop because your ass is hurting, okay?